Back to the daily grind with the only free MMA channel that fucking matters, full-time MMA. And I just wanted to start the day off with the hashtag fuck Tony P. I don't know why he ain't even that fucking serious. He calmed down after that fucking first day, but it's all good, so did Oscar. Hashtag fuck Tony P, hashtag fuck Oscar. It is what it is. Let's get to Jose Aldo and what he had to say about his November return. He low-key might have broke some news in this, so listen up. This is what Jose Aldo had to say when it comes to what does he think about fighting for the title again, and when is he gonna be fighting. He said, I'm sure Frankie Edgar will be the next challenger for Max Holloway. They'll be fighting in November. There's where he broke a little bit of news, because we know Max Holloway's has been waiting to find who he's gonna be fighting next out of Cub Swanson and Frankie Edgar. His manager said they're in a little contract dispute, not a bad thing, just that they're waiting on Dana White to show him the money, because Dana White told him, you know, if you can go out there and become the undisputed champion, you know, they were having contract negotiations before the Aldo fight. They said, go out there and put on a hell of a performance and we'll pay you what you want. So he went out there and he did exactly that, put on more shit. He lived up to the standards. He put on a hell of a performance versus Jose Aldo, came out and dismantled the champion. So with that being said, he was waiting on the UFC to show him the money after that fight. So by November, it's looking like they might have came to something, but they haven't announced it yet. But Jose Aldo's low-key announcing it. He said, I'm pretty sure Frankie Edgar's going to be the next challenger from Holloway. They'll be fighting in November. So November, ooh, I cannot fucking wait for November. There's going to be some good fights in November. Bisping, GSP, Holloway versus Edgar. Ooh, Edgar said he's looking forward to destroying another Hawaiian champion after his history with BJ Penn. You just gotta fucking can't wait. Anyway, so he said, I know Edgar will be the next challenger, so I'm not thinking about being the champion short term. My plan is to start again. Now that Holloway's head is turned toward the next challenger, and then to fight for the belt again. So he's saying after he's gonna let Holloway defend his belt once versus Edgar. He's pretty sure that's gonna be the next challenge. But he's still looking to get that belt again, but he's not worried about the immediate rematch. Interesting. That's very interesting. He said, we're already in contact with the UFC. I've returned to training, and I'm waiting for the time to fight again. But I can't say anything until it's finalized. I just think it's the choice of Holloway. It's not my choice who I'll fight. It's a matter of negotiation between my head coach, and the UFC. At the latest, I'll fight in December, but if I can fight before in November, that would be even better. Interesting. Okay, so Aldo versus, like, what, Swanson? I would think it's Aldo versus Swanson for the next title challenger. I mean, they could do Aldo versus someone else, and if the fight's, you know, not fight of the night, just give Cub Swanson the next shot. But it could be Aldo versus Swanson, and I know that would be unfortunate for Cub Swanson, but that could be what we're looking at if Aldo's getting a fight before the end of the year. If not, let me know who you think would be another good opponent for Aldo. I know there's a lot of good people at featherweight right now, at the top of featherweight. Like, what about Aldo versus Ricardo Lamas? Ricardo Lamas is coming off of a very entertaining win, a knockout win over Jason Knight at UFC 214. So it could be Aldo versus Lamas, Swanson versus Lamas. There's a lot of fights that could happen at featherweight. So Aldo's looking to return either Madison Square Garden in November or on a big end of the year card in December. Either way, it's going to be a big fight, big return. Can't wait to see Aldo back in the game. Alright, he said it's a part of the game about his UFC loss to Max Holloway at UFC 212. The sport is about winning, and the positive result doesn't always come in. It is part of it. Now I'm thinking of fighting again. I don't know about the future, but I'm opening this new store that's worth a lot. Okay, nice. He's got something going for him outside. Aldo, he was the champion for a long time, 9 years before he was knocked out by Conor McGregor in 13 seconds. And then after that, he became the champion again. The belt was relinquished. He fought Frankie Edgar at UFC 200 for the interim title, and he beat Frankie Edgar in a unanimous decision. And so he won the interim title. So when Conor McGregor was stripped, Jose Aldo got the title back. And in Jose Aldo's title defense versus Max Holloway, he lost the belt legitimately. Well, actually, he lost the belt legitimately first time, but I was just saying how he got the belt. A lot of people say it weren't legitimate. So he said everyone has misinterpreted what my coach said when his coach was making excuses about his Holloway fight. His coach said he had an injury and stuff. He was like, everyone misinterpreted what my coach said. He said that in training I had injuries and that I couldn't train normally, but that's the past. So he's not making excuses for his fight. It sounded like his coach was for a minute, but It's all good. Max Holloway was a true champion regardless. I mean, I love the fucking jokes and the memes and the 13. What the fuck you mean, dude? Every time you see Max Holloway at a live press conference or something, if you're watching the comments, if you're watching anything that has Jose Aldo with the comment section, every time you see Jose Aldo, you're going to see 13, 13, 13. It's all good, though. I fuck with fucking Jose Aldo. He's the fucking featherweight king. I mean, he's been dethroned as of right now, but he's on his way back for the title. Before he lost his title, he was talking about fighting at 155 pounds, super fights with people like Khabib and stuff like that, trying to get the interim title in the Conor fight again at a weight class above. But now that he's lost his championship, he's got some entertaining fresh matchups. It's going to be interesting to watch Jose Aldo the challenger compared to Jose Aldo the champion we watched for so long. We haven't really got to see many Jose Aldo that's not the champion. People don't respect as the champion when he's going into a fight. Even when he fought Frankie Edgar after losing to Conor McGregor, it was a championship fight. So it still felt like Jose Aldo was champion a little bit. Then he fought Max Holloway, and he was the champion. So you were still seeing him as the champion. It's going to be interesting to watch him with no belt on the line versus a top contender, like Aldo versus Lamas or Aldo versus Swanson with no belt on the line. It's going to be fucking fun and interesting and new to watch. Of all, it's going to be refreshing to see Jose Aldo the challenger climbing the ladder. Wow, just thinking about it, I can't wait. So it is what it is. He praised Max Holloway. He said Max Holloway's the true champion. McGregor's never been a champion of anything. He has won the championship and then he left. A true champion has to defend the belt. I'm happy Max Holloway is the champion. He's a good guy who did it because he deserves to be where he is. The last thing I'll say about that, you can't say Max Holloway is a true champion and Conor McGregor's not for not defending his belt. Max Holloway has not defended his belt yet, unless you count the interim title, but that's not defending his belt because he was fighting against the real champion in you, Jose Aldo. So you can't say Max Holloway's a true champion and Conor McGregor's not, because just like Conor McGregor, Max Holloway has never defended his title, and as of right now, he's not scheduled to defend his title yet. As of right now, all we know is he's in contract negotiations trying to get a better contract before he defends his title. So even though Aldo may be privy to some information and know that Holloway versus Edgar's coming in November, but he still hasn't defended his title yet in Max Holloway. So you can't use that, oh, Conor McGregor's never been a true champion. He's never defended a belt. Neither has Max Holloway, the guy that you're calling the true champion. So, I mean, I don't think Max Holloway's going to tie up the division. I do think Max Holloway will be fighting in November. I do think Max Holloway will prove himself as a true champion. But the word true has many definitions. Conor McGregor's a true champion regardless of, you can argue it. You can argue it with everybody, though. It's arguable. I can tell you why Conor McGregor's a true champion, how he was the first person to hold 2 belts at one time, champ. I could fucking tell you how Conor McGregor iced the 9-year king to become the true champion. I can tell you how he knocked out 2 champions in Eddie Alvarez and Jose Aldo to become a true champion. I can tell you how Conor McGregor's raised the bar financially for every MMA fighter and champion in the fucking MMA world. Therefore, he's a true champion because he's taken the sport to new heights. But at the same time, I can say, yeah, he's never defended his belt. You know, at the same, but it doesn't matter. You see what I'm saying? It's all your opinion. If you want a reason to dislike Conor McGregor, sure, you can find some. If you fucking don't, if you want to fucking accept what's going on, just as a part of MMA, you should take the John Jones approach and be inspired by what you're seeing from Conor McGregor, the new heights. Or you can be salty, like Fabricio Verdum, and say 80% of the fighters don't like Conor McGregor because he's mean, because 80% of the fighters don't like Conor McGregor because he's disrespectful. 80%, 99% of the fighters don't make as much money as Conor McGregor. So I understand a lot of the Brazilian champions dislike Conor McGregor because of his history with Jose Aldo. But at the same time, man, you got to put some respect on the motherfucking champ. You can't call him not a true champion for not defending his belt and then call some other champion who's never defended his belt a true champion. With that being said, hit thumbs up, hit subscribe. Let the haters know what the fuck you time at in the comments. Dude. What do you call a liquored up Dana White baking bread in Brazil? Jose Baldo.